Hey guys, what's up? It's Alex or Nuznuz here, and today's video is going to be a money-making guide targeted towards high-level slayers. Now this video is going to be focusing on slayer methods to make a ton of money, and usually on each money-making guide that I make, I do my best to show you 3 different methods to give you all some variety. Now since double XP is here, I thought this would be a great time to showcase the best slayer moneymakers. Now keep in mind, this video is going to be showing the on-task money per hour, but I'll also mention the off-task money per hour. So you will need some Slayer points or VIP tickets saved up to do these methods to their full potential. So make sure to leave a like below, as it really helps get the video out there to more people, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more RuneScape 3 content like this. So without further ado, let's get into the first method. Alright, so the first method we're going to be looking at is going to be killing wyverns. Now for this method, you're going to need level 96 Slayer to kill these creatures. You'll also need level 96 Herblore for overloads, and Wormfire potions are also needed. You will need 90 plus combat stats because those are recommended for killing these at a decent speed, and 95 prayer for soul split and turmoils is also highly recommended. The upgraded bone crusher also makes things a lot easier, but it's not technically required. Alright, so to get into the equipment setup, I am using full trim masterwork. However, you can use normal masterwork or something like Torva. I'm also using Lanikia's spear, but a scythe, Drygor's, Dragon Rider lance all work well. You'll want obviously Luck of the Dwarves if you have it, your Slayer helm, and wear your best cape. I also have a Scrimshaw of Vampirism because this really helps keep your health up while you're killing these. And the best in slot gloves would be the Cinderbane gloves, but I personally didn't have them, so I used Masterwork. As for inventory, you'll need a Wormfire potion to protect you from the Wyvern's breath, overload or stat boosting potions as well, and then you'll want prayer potions or super restores. The upgraded bone crusher is really good as it will pick up the wyvern bones for you. Magic notepaper works well with this to auto pick up the bones and then note them yourself. I also bring an anti-poison, which is needed because of the wyvern's breath, and a weapon poison because poison effects work great here. The spring cleaner is also really good for breaking down loot, and then the rest of your inventory should be filled with food. As for a familiar, I used a Ripper Demon, but you could bring something like a Steel Titan, or for longer trips, you could bring a Beast of Burden to carry supplies if you'd like to as well. So to get to the wyverns, you'll want to go to the ice dungeon and go to the regular wyverns. To get here, you could either walk from Port Sarum and go down into the dungeon, or you can use your dungeoneering skill cape if you have it and teleport to the frost dragons and just walk a short way. Now when you get here, you'll see the room is pretty icy, and the strategy to kill these wyverns is to basically drink all your potions. Make sure you drink your Wormfire potion so you know you have that protection, and you'll go into the room and it'll start to get cold. Now wyverns will make you cold and you'll start to freeze, and you'll take damage if you get to a certain cold percentage, which you can see on your buff bar. Now there are fires around, and if you light the fires and stand around them, you'll start to warm up. I like to light these when I get to around probably about 70% cold, as you want to stay at around 50 to 60% cold to take the least damage. This is because if you become too warm, you'll start taking increased poison damage, and if you become too cold, you'll get stunned and take more damage as well. So the best course of action is to stay near that 50 to 60% sweet spot. And that's pretty much it. You just kill these guys, and it's honestly pretty easy. You can use Protect from melee and use Devotion if you want to take the least damage. You can try Soul Splitting, but they do hit a bit hard. But if you can keep up your heals with Soul Split, then of course you can use that. Don't forget to use an Aura. Vampirism or Supreme Brawler are pretty good here. Use Vampirism if you need more health, and make sure you turn on your Vampirism Scrimshaw. So yeah, it was pretty chill. I just used my Bone Crusher to have the bones sent to my inventory and just noted them with magic notepaper. I also ended up getting a raptor key piece, which was nice as well, and I finished my task in about 12 to 15 minutes. Now we're going to take a look at the total loot. Alright, so I killed about 50 wyverns for my task, which took me around 12 minutes, and the total loot comes out to 2 million GP, which is about 10 mil per hour. However, since you're on task, you have a chance to get the Wyvern crossbow at a 1 in 2k drop rate, which the Wyvern crossbow is fairly expensive at almost 80 mil. So you should get a Wyvern crossbow in about 8 to 10 hours of killing these. So that would add up to an extra 8 million GP per hour, which makes living wyverns upwards of 18 to 20 mil per hour while you're on a slayer task. I really enjoyed these, and it was a nice change of pace from the usual slayer that I do. I also like the fact that I can get raptor key pieces and get big drops like the Wyvern crossbow. Remember, all the rates are on task, so these would be about 10 mil per hour off task and upwards of 20 mil per hour on task. Alright guys, so the next slayer task we are going to be looking at is killing soul devourers. Now there's a lot of soul devourer creatures you can kill, and they all give pretty decent money. However, for this video I'm going to be focusing on the crocodile Akhs, which require level 111 slayer. Now for this you'll want a few things. You'll need 90 plus combat stats just like the last method, and of course you'll need 96 herblore for overloads and 95 prayer for soul split and turmoil are highly recommended. For my gear I'll be using pretty much the exact same setup as the last method. I'll be using full trim masterwork. However, normal masterwork or Torva works just fine. Cinderbane gloves are the best, but I'm just using my masterwork gloves. Amulet of Souls or Essence of Finality, a Scythe, Dragon Rider Lance, Lanikia Spear, or any other AoE melee weapon will work well too. You'll want to make sure it's probably above tier 80 because if it's any lower you'll be having a bit of trouble. Luck of the Dwarves because we don't want to see any cheese and tomato botas up in here. You want a Vampirism Scrimshaw. It's basically a must to keep your health up. And then for auras, you're probably going to want to use Vampirism, but you can use Brawler depending on if you can keep your health up or not, but I would just use Vampirism. As for my inventory, I have overloads and aggression potions. I also have a few brews just in case, and then restores for prayer. You will then need feathers of Mott for each soul devourer that you kill. I also bring along a Vital Spark drop enhancer and Soft Nim Slayer dungeon enhancer for the increased key to the crossing drop rate, and you'll get double Vital Sparks. This will increase your profits a lot if you have the spare dungeoneering tokens to buy these. You'll also want the Enhanced Excalibur for the free heals, and then the rest of my inventory is just full of food. So killing these is pretty easy. You'll want to go to the Soft Nim Slayer dungeon and head down to the Crocodile Akhs. Basically, when you get there, you'll want to pray melee and sip your aggression potion and your overload. So for your abilities, you'll want to have an ability bar that prioritizes AoE abilities such as Quake, Hurricane, Meteor Strike, and things like that. You'll also want to use Devotion as much as possible. Whenever it is up, I would put it at the front of your Revolution bar. You'll also want to use your Enhanced Excalibur as much as possible as well. So make sure you're using the Vampirism Aura and Scrimshaw to keep your health up as much as possible. But basically you just want to sit in the middle of this arena and AoE the crocodiles down while using your Devotion constantly. If you ever get too low health or you're finding yourself getting overwhelmed and need to eat, just move out a little bit or run away for a bit so you don't have them all on you. But you also want to keep in mind that the Crocodile Akhs have a special attack and they will slam their tail into you to hit you 3k through your prayer, but they'll only do this after 5 auto attacks. Usually this is not a concern as you'll kill the crocodiles before it gets to that point. That is why you need the higher level weapon, because you need to be dealing out enough DPS. So for me, this method was a really nice and AFK method, and I did my task of 161 soul devourers in around 10 minutes. Now looking at the loot I received, I got 1 key to the crossing and 11 vital sparks, totaling with all the normal loot at about 3.3 million GP. This gives us over 20 mil an hour on task. However, I did get a bit lucky with the Vital Sparks, but I also got unlucky, only getting 1 key to the crossing while being on task with enhancers. So I think 20 mil per hour is pretty accurate while you're on task, and these are just a really great option overall as they give super good XP up to over 600k per hour. Alright guys, so the final Slayer creature is going to be the Lost Grove creatures, specifically the Vinecrawlers. Now these are killed with range and they require 104 Slayer. You will want 90 plus combat stats and 95 prayer for turmoils and soul split, as well as 96 herblore for overloads are recommended. So for the gear setup, I am using Ascension crossbows, but just use your best range weapon. Tier 80 plus is recommended. I am also using Serenic, but Pernix or Animacore works just fine. I have ranged Kiln Cape, Fleeting Boots, Nightmare Gauntlets, although Cinderbane gloves are better as these are susceptible to poison. I use Luck of the Dwarves, Essence of Finality or Amulet of Souls is good, and I'm also using Dragonstone but Criminal Bolts, but use whatever bolts or ammo you feel comfortable spending. For the aura, you can use a range damage aura, but for more chill trips and for maintaining longer trips, you'll want to use the Vampirism aura. As for inventory, it's pretty simple. I'm using overloads with super restores to restore my prayer, an enhanced Excalibur for free heals, a weapon poison because like I said, poison works well on these, and the rest of my inventory is going to be filled with food. Now to kill these, you'll want to go to the Lost Grove past the Incandescent Wisp colony and head to the Vinecrawlers on the map northwest. So for killing these, it's pretty simple. You just drink your overload and you'll want to pray magic. You'll want to prioritize using devotion when possible, and Vampirism aura should keep your health high. If you want, you can always soul split flick if you start getting low on health or running out of food. Now these Vinecrawlers do have a special attack where they will shoot purple poison at you and deal a big hit of damage. This can be dodged by simply walking away from the purple smoke on the floor. However, if you kill these fast enough, you shouldn't have much problems with that attack. All in all, this was just a chill method, just like the rest of the other methods that I've shown in this video, but I really enjoyed ranging them compared to using melee so much during Slayer. So if we take a look at the loot, in 15 minutes I got around 1 million GP in normal loot. Now you might be saying to yourself, this doesn't seem like a lot. Well, it isn't. The majority of our money coming from these creatures is going to be the money accounted for from the Cinderbane gloves and Ancient Elven Ritual Shard drops, which are 80 mil and 15 mil respectively. They are both dropped at a 1 in 1500 drop rate per task. This means you should get Cinderbanes and an Ancient Elven Ritual Shard every 10 hours or so, which means your total GP per hour should come out to something like this. Now this is accounted for when you're doing 160 kills per hour, which is really good at 14 mil GP per hour. I really like this method because the XP is great, but I always love that chance of getting that rare drop like Cinderbane gloves that are really going to increase your bank value. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was focused on Slayer to kind of give you guys something to go for double XP, to smash out that Slayer XP while also making a ton of money. If this helped you out, make sure to leave a like below and subscribe for future videos like this. I also want to shout out and thank all my channel members. If you guys would like to join my channel memberships, you can click the join button below or in the description, or it'll pop up on screen now, and you can get a bunch of free or a bunch of cool perks like an add-on Discord, PVMing with me, free merchandise, all kinds of cool stuff. So check that out, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.